Let's talk about academic writing. Welcome to Academic Life, the YouTube channel where we discuss all things of interest to people who work in academia and research. Today, we are talking about how genre analysis can help with academic writing. Personally, I find writing the most difficult part of my job as an academic. One of the things that makes academic writing difficult is that there are so many different types of texts that academics write. For example, in my job I write email messages, research papers, feedback to students, grant applications, ethics board applications, presentations for class, course plans, peer reviews, research posters, conference presentations, instructional videos, and so on. Each of these different types of text can be called a genre. So one thing that makes academic writing difficult is that a successful academic writer must be able to master many different genres. And another thing that makes academic writing difficult is that there are often no instructions about how to write many of these genres. Good writers know how to write the genre, but it is difficult to communicate to others how to write the genre. So, if you want to improve your ability to write academic texts, you're often left to your own devices. In 1990, John Swales published a book called Genre Analysis that demonstrates how academic writers can learn more about how to write academic texts. In this book, Swales demonstrates how looking at many different instances of a genre and analyzing what they have in common can help writers to learn the unwritten rules of that genre, and therefore be more successful at writing that genre. In particular, his model of how to write the introductions of research papers has become a seminal text. This model is often called the CARS model, which stands for Create a Research Space. Swales analyzed a number of research papers and found that introductions to papers often contain a series of 3 moves that establish a research space for the paper to present its methodology and results. These moves are establishing a territory, establishing a niche, and occupying a niche. The first move, establishing a territory, sets the research in the context of a particular field or research area. The second move, establishing a niche, points out where in the field a gap in the current research exists. And the third move, occupying a niche, points out where the current study can fill or partially fill that niche. The overall effect of these 3 moves is to argue to the reader that the research paper is appropriate to the field and addresses a gap in the field. I took a recent example from PLOS ONE to demonstrate how these 3 moves work. The article is by Ajayi and was published in the December 23, 2019 issue of PLOS ONE. The article is called I Am Alive, My Baby is Alive. Understanding Reasons for Satisfaction and Dissatisfaction with Maternal Health Care Services in the Context of User Fee Removal Policy in Nigeria. I've taken some sentences from this article that demonstrate how the 3 moves work. Move 1. Establishing a territory. Most maternal deaths are preventable with the use of quality obstetric services. However, many women do not have access to these services in sub-Saharan Africa, and especially in Nigeria. To address the suboptimal utilization of maternal health care services, many countries in sub-Saharan Africa have introduced user fee removal policy. Even though there is evidence that free maternal health care policy is associated with increased uptake of services, some studies have also shown that the sharp increase in the rate of utilization following the introduction of the policy is only temporary. These sentences make it clear that the research area has to do with obstetrics in sub-Saharan Africa, and that it has to do with the removal of user fees. Move 2. Establishing a niche. While several studies have documented the effect of user fee removal policy on maternal health care services utilization, experiences of women seeking care in facilities offering free obstetric services, the women's level of satisfaction and reasons for satisfaction or dissatisfaction are less understood. This sentence points out a gap in the research which the current study is going to fill. In this case, Satisfaction with free obstetric services. Move 3. Occupying a niche. The main thrust of this study is to examine the experiences of beneficiaries of free maternal healthcare services, assess their level of satisfaction and reasons for satisfaction and dissatisfaction with care received. This sentence describes the present study and clearly positions it to fill the gap established in the previous move. The development of the CARS model demonstrates for us as academic writers how we can learn how to write difficult written genres. The key is to look at many well-written instances of that genre and find what they have in common. Then imitate the way they form their argument. For example, the CARS model works for introductions to research articles, but doesn't say anything about how to write other academic texts, such as grant applications. So, an academic writer who wants to learn how to write a good grant application could look at many examples of successful grant applications and then imitate the way they are organized and their linguistic characteristics. What difficulties have you encountered as an academic writer? What strategies have helped you to overcome your difficulties with academic writing? What topics would you like to see covered on future videos on this channel? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and follow us on social media so you can easily see future videos on academic life. See you next time.